everyone, and welcome to another installment of Fantastic Five. This week, we're counting down the 5 best musical acts in comics. It's always a challenge to portray an auditory medium like music in a visual medium like comics, but that's never stopped creators from trying. One of the first superheroes to also be a musician was the original Vigilante from DC Comics. He looks like an Old West hero, but he's actually a country singer who tours the US of the 1940s with his guitar and fights crime along the way. Then of course there's the Archies, a rather egocentrically named band made up of Archie Andrews and his group of friends. I'm not including them in this list officially because they're not really the most important band from their line of comics, and I'm trying to spread the love around. Similarly, Lila Cheney got left off because, while she's incredibly cool, she's not the most prominent mutant musician in the Marvel Universe. It's possible there's another band or two left out because of their proximity to another pick, but we'll get to that. Speaking of which, I'd better start the list before they find out they're not included. Number 5, Dazzler. Dazzler was created to be a multi-platform, multimedia superstar, with a comic, a movie, and music. Unfortunately, only the comic actually happened. Also, she was a disco star introduced in 1980, so she never stood much of a chance of hitting it big. On the other hand, she debuted in the hottest comic of the era, Uncanny X-Men, and then went on to lead her own title that lasted 4 years. She eventually got an 80s makeover and joined the X-Men officially, and various attempts to modernize her have met with varying degrees of success. But she'll always be remembered as the #1 super disco diva. Number 4, Black Canary. People who didn't read the Black Canary series by Brendan Fletcher and Annie Wu may have missed it, but in that comic, Black Canary wasn't just a superhero name, it was the name of the band she was in. It turns out that Dinah Lance's voice isn't just deadly, it's also great for rock vocals. The band Black Canary toured the country while also avoiding various threats, and gained a reputation for amazing music and serious fights. They even put out actual official music for download. The book has ended, and it seems that chapter of Dinah's life has ended with it, but it will always be remembered as a unique and successful take on the character. Number 3, Sex Bob-omb. The absurdly named Sex Bob-omb is the band in which Scott Pilgrim, star of the wildly popular series of graphic novels of the same name, plays bass guitar. On lead guitar is Stephen Stills, known as The Talent, with Scott's ex, Kim Pine, who he's still good friends with, but yes, it's awkward, on drums. Despite the magical realist by way of video games tone of the Scott Pilgrim books, Sex Bob-omb still feels like a very realistic depiction of a band just getting on their feet, in a way that most of the acts on this list are not. They're booking clubs, they're trying to get noticed, they're helping Scott as he battles his girlfriend's evil exes, the whole deal. And in the movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, their songs were written by Beck, so they sound great. Number 2, Jem and the Holograms. While it's true that Jem and the Holograms got their start as a TV cartoon in the 80s, their comic has been ongoing for 2 years now and feels more and more like the definitive version. Writer Kelly Thompson has updated the premise while retaining the spirit of the original, and initial artist Sophie Campbell redesigned the characters with more realistically diverse body types, while making sure that they're still impossibly stylish. The Holograms are a pop rock band made up of 2 sisters by birth and their 2 foster sisters, who have the help of a sentient supercomputer whose holographic technology creates both their amazing outfits and Jem's identity, as a way of helping Jerrica, the woman behind the voice, overcome her stage fright. They're locked in a rivalry with punkier band The Misfits, who would be angry but unsurprised to learn that they've been left off this list in favor of the Holograms. And number 1, Josie and the Pussycats. No band in comics history has had the kind of career that these girls have. The band first formed in 1969, mostly to give second-tier Archie Comics protagonist Josie something unique to do. She plays guitar, while tomboy Valerie plays bass and Flighty Melody is on drums. Although they live in the same world as the Archies, their perspective is quite different. As they find quicker musical success, the focus of their comics becomes their careers, rather than high school drama. Josie and the Pussycats had their own cartoon in the 60s, which became Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space in the 70s. They also got their own movie in 2001, which bombed at the box office, but has become a cult classic that some consider the best comic book movie of all time. That's all for this week. Join us again next week for another list and another trip back to Rockville. Thanks for watching this episode of Fantastic Five. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Comics Alliance, and check out comicsalliance.com for more comics awesomeness.